right, and we're all set up here for episode 5. We're looking at a big action-packed episode in regards to the NFL as well as some entertainment. We're going to be doing a look at the NFC West, followed by doing some NFC West quick hitters. Then Max is going to be giving me a quiz that's going to probably go very poorly, and that's going to be who does he play for? I'm hoping to at least get one.
Who he play for.
So who he play for, sorry.
Yes.
And then to round us off of the episode, we're going to be doing a all-time superheroes draft,
Superhero
movies draft. Sorry, we're going to be drafting the movie, not the superhero in and of itself. So, starting us off here, looking now at the NFC West, this is definitely one of the, I would say, top-tier divisions in the NFL right now.
I'd say in the NFC. I think it might be the best division in the NFC. NFC Beast is pretty good too.
NFC Beast
with the Giants, they were good last year. The Cowboys, obviously, and the Eagles were playing in the Super Bowl. For me, they're probably the second best division in the NFC, and the AFC I think is just a little bit stronger of a conference overall.
Yeah, no, but I think specifically last year or the year before that, at their primes, I think it was revered as the best division. Obviously, some of the seasons that a few of these teams had is the reason why, they've dropped in said ranking. So, starting us off, I think the team I want to look at first is the Arizona Cardinals. Now, this is a team that has the second most cap space right now currently. They don't necessarily know if they're going to be having Kyler Murray play quarterback because, he's coming off of that ACL injury?
Yeah. If I had to guess, it seems like based off the offseason moves they made, they might be moving towards a rebuild or at least a retooling. So I wouldn't be surprised if he's healthy enough to play towards the end there, but they just want to tank for a better draft pick.
Yeah, and, their offense ranked 28th last year.
Let's be honest. They're a bad team.
Yeah, they were last.
It would be a shock if they didn't lose this division this year.
Yeah, no, for sure. They have, I think, arguably to me personally, the smallest receiving core I've ever seen, with Hollywood Brown, 5'9".
Rondale Moore.
Who's 5'7".
He's even shorter.
And then Greg Dortch, who's also 5'7".
Yeah. I like that they've kind of moved in another direction at least. I think going out and getting who I thought was the best tackle in the draft, Paris Johnson. Played against him a couple years ago. He's a freak of nature. Let's just say that. Protecting Kyler Murray's got to be responsibility number one for them, right? Because it kind of looks like a video game watching 5'8" Kyler Murray run around the football field for his life, as it has been the last couple of years. So I like that they went out and got their tackle. They traded back, but ultimately they still got the guy that they want, and they got picks from the Texans anyways. Mm-hmm. So I like that move a lot. They stack up some draft capital for what feels like a rebuild. And then on top of that, they went and got who I thought was one of the most underrated pass rushers in the draft last year. That's B.J. Ujulari. Sorry if I'm butchering that name. Mm-hmm. But he arguably could have been a first-round talent. And listen, this is a bad football team. They're probably going to be bad this year in what's a pretty strong division. I don't see them winning more than 2 games, maybe.
Whoa.
No, in their division.
Okay,
in their division.
okay.
In their division. I'm sorry. But when you have Colt McCoy starting for 17 games, it's going to be kind of rough. Colt McCoy's pretty good on a spot start in November when you just need a guy to maybe keep it close in a division game. But 17 games, we haven't seen Colt McCoy play that much football in a very long time, probably since he's been in a Cleveland uniform. So personally, I think this team's they're going to be sitting in the basement for the entire year.
Yeah, and I think they already re-signed Kyler. What was it, a huge extension, correct?
Yeah, Kyler got paid this offseason. I think it was a little bit less than both Hurts and Lamar's deal that they got this year.
Yeah, and I think, honestly, if I was the Cardinals, I would look at various free agent quarterback options. I know Wentz is still available. I think you can find a lot more better options than having Colt McCoy being your starting quarterback for the year.
But that might be the strategy. They might want to lose football games and try and get a better pick. Imagine they start Colt McCoy the whole year, and you end up with a number 1 pick, and you don't want to draft Caleb Williams because you think Kyler Murray's your guy, think about the draft assets you can accumulate from that.
Yeah, you can trade. So, your prediction's probably the same as mine. I have them coming in last.
Yeah, I have them fourth place in that division.
So then moving on next to our next team, going to be the Los Angeles Rams. Yeah, I think a team that, their offense doesn't look too different from the Super Bowl winning team that they had. I know, give or take some offensive linemen, they're skill set pieces. They still have Stafford and Kupp, both coming back off of injuries. They obviously had that incredible season where Kupp had the most receiving yards in the NFL history, but that was, of course, because he got an extra week. Whatever it may be, a lot of their same talent and players are going to be coming back for them. The defense looks very different though from when they won in the Super Bowl. Obviously, a lot of pieces have been shipped off.
Yeah, but I actually don't hate that, right? Because you trade away Jalen Ramsey. This is a team that's had been in cap hell for the last couple of years because they went all in on getting their Super Bowl, which worked out in the end. But you're not paying Jalen Ramsey anymore. You get some draft assets that you had previously lost from making trades for literally Jalen Ramsey, Von Miller, all these veteran players who had been aging and aren't really able to contribute at the level you thought they would be able to for the remainder of their contract. So I like that they reaccumulated some draft assets. I think they're an underrated team going into this year. Mm-hmm. And if you're coming to play them on Sunday, they're not a team that you think you can just roll over, in my opinion. It's a weak conference, all in all. The AFC is much better than the NFC this year, and they're easily a team that I could see sneaking into a wild card spot. I'm not gonna make any bold predictions 80 days out from the NFL season, but I think there's a pretty strong chance that they could sneak in as a wild card team. We'll see if Matt Stafford's healthy, but obviously the last time we saw Cooper Kupp, he was still an elite receiver. Sean McVay is still one of the best coaches in football, and they're only getting younger, which was a desperate need for them.
I don't want to say it's impossible, but I just can't see, if they stay healthy, this team, at least not winning 5 games. I think I would say 5 games.
No, for sure.
If they're healthy.
Here's the thing. I don't think they're a team that's ever going to get blown out and playing like a superior opponent. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. They can play the 49ers twice a year and give them a game. They can play out of division, give any good team a game, I think. They have the pieces to do it. I think the number one thing for them, though, is being how healthy is Matt Stafford going into the season. I mean, you don't normally see quarterbacks having to get a Tommy John surgery, especially late in their career. You don't know how that's going to affect them.
Yeah, that's for sure. I think, you're still going to have to come in. You're going to have to prepare for Aaron Donald. You're going to have to prepare for Cooper Kupp. I just think automatically that's going to make for a competitive football team regardless. So
for sure,
I would put them. I'm going to say third. I can maybe see second. I'm going to go with third.
Yeah. I'll get to that when we talk about the next team I think we're going to talk to.
Okay. Moving on to Seattle Seahawks.
All right, you want me to lead it off here?
You can lead us off here.
So here's my thing with the Seahawks. I loved their draft. I thought they had one of the best drafts by far. You pair Devin Witherspoon, an extremely physical bump-and-run corner, with one of the best press man young corners we've seen in a long time. I mean, Tariq Woolens is a freak of nature, right? You get JSN at 20, who could end up as the best receiver in this draft. I've seen clips that already looks like him and Geno are getting along really well. It seems like they have some sort of connection. Mm-hmm. But for me, it's you lost Poona Ford, your best run stopper, on what was already a kind of a weak interior defense last year. Mm-hmm. Obviously, you replace him with Draymond Jones, alumnus of our high school.
Hometown pick.
You re-signed Bobby Wagner on a homecoming deal, who's aging and hasn't been an all-pro linebacker in a couple of years. I kind of feel the opposite about them as I do with the Rams. Mm-hmm. They're the type of team that I could kind of see regressing to the mean a little bit. But you never know. Here's my thing. I think the 49ers are going to win this division pretty handily. And I don't know what's going to happen with 2 and 3, but whoever finishes second in this division and wins their divisional games, I think snags a wild card spot. Mm-hmm. Whether that's the Rams or the Seahawks, I could both see them sitting at like 9 and 8, maybe 10 and 7, and snagging a wild card spot. they could finish with the same record and just one of them makes it over the other based on who won their head-to-head matchups. So we'll have to wait and see. I like them for the future, though. They have the best future out of any team in this division, I think.
I think they definitely have now, like you were talking about, have one of the best receiving corps in the NFL.
Oh, for sure.
Pair that with, you got to just pray and hope for Geno Smith to be almost as good as he was last year, maybe even a step up from that. I think just the story arc of Geno Smith has been incredible, too.
It's been awesome.
But yeah, I think they're solidifying their defense. Their secondary is unreal. I really think that they're going to be a force to be reckoned with, and I would put their floor at 9 wins this year.
Really?
At least, yeah.
That's pretty generous, I think some people would say.
I would say 9. I would say 9, yeah.
They're you know what? They're one of the most fun teams to watch, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And Kenneth Walker, we didn't even bring up Kenneth Walker.
Yeah, that's right.
Didn't play a full season last year. Arguably, he could have been the Rookie of the Year if he had posted a full sample size. He didn't play the first 7 or 8 games of the season.
Mm-hmm.
So I like him to break out this year. He might be a sleeper second-round pick in some fantasy drafts this year.
Yeah, maybe even first. Who knows?
Maybe even first. We'll see.
Okay, so moving on to our last team, and I think the odds-on favorite to win this division.
Yeah. Let's just be honest.
Yeah, it's the Niners.
Does it matter who's playing quarterback for these guys?
No, it does not.
They signed Sam Darnold, who honestly is probably a quality backup. If Brock Purdy's hurt going into the season, I don't hate Sam Darnold making 3 starts for them to start the year. I could see them winning 2 of those games, maybe 3. You don't really know. I mean, they brought in Javon Hargrave, who is one of the best defensive tackles in the league, on a deal that's pretty similar to what Dalvin Tomlinson got in Cleveland, who's aging and is not nearly as good of a player as he is. He's cheaper than Dexter Lawrence or Leonard Williams were signed for this offseason. I don't know what to say about them. I mean, across the board, you could argue that they're the most talented team in the NFL. There's an argument. Well, I think they have the best tackle in the NFL in Trent Williams. Mm-hmm. There's an argument they have the best running back in the NFL in Christian McCaffrey. Mm-hmm. There's an argument they have the best pass rusher in Nick Bosa, the reigning defensive player of the year. Mm-hmm. And they probably have the best middle linebacker in the NFL in Fred Warner.
Yep.
I mean, outside of quarterback, what does this team lack? And I wouldn't even say Brock Purdy at his best is a bad quarterback. He was great for them. What did he win? 9 straight games last year? Mm-hmm. I mean, they're going to win the division, and it's not going to be close. They might win the Super Bowl. I'm just saying. I'm high on the Niners. I love all the moves they made. Obviously, they've made trades that prevented them from drafting at the top of the draft this year. But they have 4 guys who could be considered top 15 players in the entire league.
No,
that's how good they are.
Yeah, Purdy's run last year reminded me a lot of, I think it was Teddy Bridgewater with the Saints when Drew Brees went down. You know what I mean?
For sure.
And
absolutely.
Yeah, so I mean, I think, and I honestly think if Purdy doesn't go down in that championship game, I think they definitely are the ones that are moving on to the Super Bowl. But
I almost forgot George Kittle, who is the best blocking tight end in the NFL.
Yeah, I mean, there's infinite talent, 0 gaps, whatever there may be. There's really not much to cover on this team because there's not really many holes you could even talk about either. It's just the Javon Hargrave signing. It's ridiculous.
We didn't even talk about. I mean, Debo was hurt for 50% of last year.
Yeah,
and Brandon Ayuk steps up and he's an elite receiver for them.
It's unreal. It's unreal with how this team is and how they're built. So I definitely think I would put them on my number 1 to win the division. I think some crazy circumstances would have to happen for them not to win this division.
I don't know what would have to happen for that.
Obviously
injuries always happen, but they're handily the best team in their division. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no doubt about that one. All right, so now we're going to be moving on to the NFC West, or NFL.
NFC West.
NFC West quick hitters. So, Max, starting you off, I'm going to read these off, and just quick hitters could be quick answers, whatever it may be.
Yeah, you can let me know what you think.
Just give me your immediate ones, okay. Best QB.
And we're talking about for this upcoming season?
Yes.
Geno Smith.
Okay, fair. Best running back.
CMC.
CMC makes sense. Best receiver.
Oh, that's tough. Oh, Cooper Kupp. I still believe in Cooper Kupp.
Okay. Yeah. Makes sense. All right, best defense.
Niners.
Okay, the Niners,
It's
yeah.
the Niners.
Best coach.
Best coach. I don't know, man. I think people underrate Pete Carroll. Honestly, Jonathan Gannon's out of the conversation. But I think this might be the hardest division to decide who the best coach is between Pete Carroll, Kyle Shanahan, and Sean McVay. Oh, man. They say Sean McVay's got a photographic memory. Kyle Shanahan, it seems like every coordinator he has gets hired for a head coaching job at some point. And then Pete Carroll just wins no matter. Oh, this is so tough. Oh, man.
So then my next question would be, who's the best coach in this division?
I'm gonna go Kyle Shanahan. I don't know. I think it's Kyle Shanahan, but it's close between Pete Carroll and it's close between Pete Carroll and Sean McVay.
Sean McVay, okay. So then my next question to you would be, what is the best individual defensive player within this division?
It's still Aaron Donald.
Still Aaron. I think that one's easy, yeah.
There's an argument for Nick Bosa, but it's got to be Aaron Donald still.
Next, who makes the playoffs?
I think I talked about it earlier, but I think it's the Niners for sure, and I think it's one or the other between the Rams and the Seahawks. If I have to give a hard answer, I'm going to say the Rams.
Okay. So now we're still the same quick hitters, just changing it up a little bit. Who is the guy that who'd you least want to fight?
Oh, Trent Williams for sure. Absolutely Trent Williams. 100% Trent Williams. Aaron Donald.
I think Aaron Donald's up there as well.
You go Aaron Donald?
I also wouldn't. This also could be a sleeper take. I wouldn't want to fight George Kittle. I think George Kittle would have some crazy.
But George Kittle kind of seems like a bro too, though. Like George Kittle wouldn't want to fight you.
I feel like if
Trent Williams.
Yeah, no. Well, it's easy to go with offensive a lineman or a D
Imagine
lineman.
you're in a cage fight and your opponent is Trent Williams, and he comes out to him and Deebo Samuel with a jukebox playing
Super Gremlins.
Super Gremlins.
Okay. Guy that you would most want to go and get a beer with in this division.
Oh man, that's a good question. I think it might be George Kittle, man. George Kittle just seems like a bro.
Yeah, that's true.
Or, unorthodox answer, I think Pete Carroll would be fun to talk to.
Pete Carroll would be, yeah, he's got that crazy type of
If Marshawn Lynch was still playing, it would definitely be Marshawn Lynch, though.
For me, I'd go hometown pick. I'd go Draymond Jones, but, that's just me. Guy you think that you personally could tackle, in the D3 football experience that Max has.
I don't know if he's still on their team, but it's got to be Ben Skoranek of the Rams.
Yes.
Ben Skoranek, I think I could tackle.
That's a good one. Okay. Who do you think is most likely to survive an apocalypse in the NFC West?
Oh, man. Oh, you know who it's got to be?
Who?
I'm going to totally butcher his name, but it's the strong safety for the Niners. Hufanga?
Oh, yes.
Hufanga would totally.
Yeah. He's good. Was he a Pro Bowler?
He was All-Pro last year. He was second-team All-Pro.
Yes.
But Hufanga just seems like the type of guy who's like a wilderness man.
Mm-hmm. No, that's for sure. Okay.
Yeah, but I would say my most resounding answer is I would not want to fight Trent Williams.
No, that's
definitely the last person.
That'd be the last. Yeah, me neither. Okay.
Moving on here from some of our quick hitters, we're gonna play a little game called Who He Play For. Some of you guys might be familiar with this. I think it's pretty popular on the NBA circuit. We're gonna start off with some easier ones, and then it's gonna get harder here as we go. My prediction, like I said earlier, I think I'm looking at like 2 or 3 for 9.
Okay.
I think if you got 3, it would be considered a W.
I might go 0, but we'll see.
All right. Darren Waller, who he play for?
He plays for the Giants now.
That's correct.
Yes, he plays for the Giants now.
We're 1 for 1.
Okay. There we go. Okay, I'll take that.
Like I said, it gets harder though.
Okay.
David Montgomery.
David Montgomery is a Detroit Lion now.
That is correct.
2
for 2.
Cross division.
You might
now.
get 4 or 5.
He's a cross division now.
All right.
Yes.
Robert Woods.
Oh, okay. So he was on the Titans last year, but I know he moved.
All of these guys switched teams in the offseason.
Is it the Falcons?
No, that's your first
No,
wrong one.
okay.
Houston Texans. from the Cardinals.
Oh God. Okay.
All right, next one here. Rashad Penny.
So yeah, he just moved on from Seattle. Can I ask one question?
Sure.
AFC or NFC?
NFC. Stayed in the conference.
Staying in conference. Okay, I don't think he's on Arizona. Obviously he's not on Seattle. Oh, wait, no, because the Rams is still Cam Akers and Sony
Anderson?
Michel. Sony Michel.
Oh, yeah, they re-signed Sony Michel.
So it's not him. So he's on the. Oh my God. So he's not on Rams. He's not on.
I didn't say it was in the division. I said it was in the conference.
Sorry. Okay.
Just shoot it. I don't think you got it. You might want to.
Okay, I'm gonna go with the Cowboys.
Philadelphia Eagles.
Okay.
Last easier one here. Patrick Peterson, who you play for.
If I'm not mistaken, is he not having a homecoming?
With?
The Cardinals?
Incorrect. The
Vikings.
The Pittsburgh
No,
Steelers.
I knew that. No, I knew that
Yeah.
one. I knew that.
He played
one.
for the Vikings last season for 1 year.
I knew that
And
one.
then, obviously, before
Oh.
the Cardinals.
Oh,
All right, so we got 4 left here. You got 2,
Okay.
and it only gets harder from here.
Okay.
Your next one is going to be Trace McSorley. I don't think you're going to get these last 4.
So last he was on the Cardinals.
Yes, I believe.
I'm gonna go with the Texans.
Incorrect. The New England Patriots.
Wow. Okay.
All right, next up here we got wide receiver Olamide Zaccheaus.
He's on the Falcons.
No, he switched teams. He's on the Eagles now.
No.
They signed him. Like I said,
Everyone moved.
this year.
Okay.
All right, 2 more here. A familiar name probably, but hasn't been relevant in a little while. We're looking for Amir Abdullah.
Amir Abdullah. Oh.
You remember Amir Abdullah?
The last I remember him was on the Lions.
Yep. Yeah.
Oh.
And that was quite a while ago.
That was quite a while ago. I'm just gonna throw a random one out there. I'm gonna say the Dolphins.
No, the Las Vegas Raiders.
Oh, he was on them last year. No,
No.
I think this is his second stint with them.
Maybe.
Could be.
Maybe.
Could be.
It looked like from my my extensive research they signed him to a deal this
Okay.
And finally, weirdly, I think you may get this one. It's going to be Felipe Franks.
No, I've never heard of that. I've never heard of him before in my life. I've never heard of that one in my life.
Just throw out a guess here.
Cleveland Browns.
No, the Atlanta Falcons.
Oh.
Tight end for the Atlanta Falcons.
All right, 2.
A stellar 2 for 9. Like I said, if you got 3, it would have been impressive. You know what I mean?
Yes, it would have been. Okay. So now moving us into our last topic for the day, and our first, dip into the waters of the entertainment industry, which we would like to get into more.
For sure.
We're going to be doing the superhero movies draft, and as me being a gentleman and a great friend, I will lead you with the first pick of the
I was going to
draft.
suggest a gentleman's game of rock, paper, scissors.
Okay, all right.
Best 2 out of 3?
No, just one.
Just one.
Ready?
Just one. Ready. All right.
Wait,
we gotta do
on
commentary.
shoot. On shoot.
Yeah, rock,
So
paper,
do-
scissors,
okay,
shoot.
okay.
Go on, shoot. Right?
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. All
All
right.
right, Ethan's starting it out here.
Okay.
We got 5 picks each.
Okay. Should we start with honorable mentions or do them at the end?
No, do them at the end.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure. Because we don't know who's
With
getting
my
picked.
first pick, and I think my personal favorite superhero movie of all time, maybe a hot take, I'm going Avengers: Infinity War.
Slotted in at my 5.
So yeah,
Slotted in at my 5.
and then so I'm gonna have to cross them off too if you get them as well. But I just think that movie is. We've seen Avengers movies before, obviously. I don't think we've ever seen a crossover that massive and with that many change
you
in
know
plot.
what it was? I feel like nowadays they do like that big of a mashup all the time, but that was
Yeah.
the first time we'd really seen it, so it kind of made it. It was unique, and now it's kind of the norm. And it was seeing it for the first time was awesome.
Yeah, it was insane.
My turn now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the obvious 1-1 pick here. I don't know how you glanced over it. You could argue this is the greatest movie of all time.
I think I know.
My first pick is The Dark Knight.
Yep.
And frankly, I don't even think it's close.
That was at my number 4. Yeah. So that's more than fair. Heath Ledger, Joker, absolutely absurd of a movie. Okay. So now moving on to my second pick. This may be a little bit of a strange pick, but a personal favorite. I'm going to go with Spider-Man 2, Tobey Maguire Spider-Man 2. That is the Doc Ock, Dr. Octavius movie. I think, I remember watching that at my grandparents' when I was a little kid, and I just absolutely loved seeing, Spider-Man versus this man with 4 arms. And I just think at that time was my first kind of introduction to superheroes, and it's led to Spider-Man being one of my favorites now. So
yeah, I can't say it made my list, but I respect the pick for sure.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely one that people like. I'm going to go with another Spider-Man movie. I think the best Spider-Man movie ever made, and that's Into the Spider-Verse.
that was my number 3. That was my next pick. That's
I don't know. I just think this is the best Spider-Man movie by far. I think Miles Morales is the best portrayal of Spider-Man we've seen. With Tobey Maguire, I feel like he was a good Peter Parker, but not a good Spider-Man. With Andrew Garfield, I feel like he was a good Spider-Man, but not the best Peter Parker. Tom Holland, I'm just kind of meh on. But I love the Miles Morales movies, and I think, obviously, we're not going to talk about Across the Spider-Verse because there's
someone hasn't seen it.
Ethan hasn't seen it yet, and we don't want to do any spoilers. But I think it's got to be the best Spider-Man movie.
Okay. So now moving on to my third pick. Correct, yes. I'm going with the original Fantastic Four movie with Chris Evans in it.
That's a wild pick.
I know. I remember having, the little TV in my car, and my parents had the little DVDs, and I'd always watch that wherever I would go. That and Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, but I definitely think Fantastic Four is going to be locked in at my number 3 spot. So,
all right, that's I might end up with 5 out of my top 6 here. With my third overall pick, I think it's the best non-MCU Marvel movie, and if I stacked it up with the MCU movies, it might be better than all of them, and that's Logan. I don't know if you've seen Logan.
So I wrote Logan with a question mark. I've never seen it, but I was looking online at ratings, and it was rated extremely high.
Logan is such a good movie.
Because it's
basically like, it follows like Wolverine once he's like aging and dying, and it's like that storyline. I won't say much more just because I don't want to spoil it.
I'm trying to remember.
Maybe we'll do a Logan movie review sometime.
Yeah, because the actor is Hugh Jackman, of course, and
yeah.
Hugh Jackman's been insane. Okay, so yeah. So moving on to my number 4. Like I said, this list is very much
These are more personal
my
favorites
personal
for you.
favorites.
Okay.
My number 4, I'm going to go with The Dark Knight Rises with Batman.
I had that on my list. Yeah.
I definitely don't think it's better, obviously, than Dark Knight. But Bane, the whole football scenes, that scene.
Yeah, Heinz Field.
When Bane throws him down into that pit and he like breaks his back or something, and then he has to crawl out. I'm not going to spoil it if anyone hasn't seen it. But
I mean,
it's been out forever.
It's been more than a decade.
But I just think the whole character building with that Batman has to be my favorite. So it's my number 4.
See, I was gonna pick Endgame, but I almost feel like if you have Infinity War, pick an Endgame. It's a lateral move, you know.
Yeah.
So with my 4th pick overall, I'm gonna go with. Since you've been doing personal favorites, I'm gonna rip a personal favorite here too. I'm not even sure if this would have made your list, but I think this is one of the trademark movies from my childhood, and that is Megamind.
No, it's on my honorable mention.
It's on your honorable
mention.
It's
on my honorable mention.
Megamind's one of the most underrated movies ever, and let me tell you why. Because there's no movie, I think, when I was a little kid that made me laugh more than seeing just some, like, big blue Smurf-looking dude and his pet fish who are... It's kind of like... Honestly, Megamind was kind of ahead of its time.
It was.
He
It
was
really
He
was.
was an anti-hero before anti-heroes were like really a thing in like superhero movies.
For sure, for sure. And I think the biggest thing for me when I saw that movie was they had a lot of songs that were on the Madden soundtrack that year.
Iconic soundtrack from Megamind
Yes,
too.
yeah. No, it's that movie is for sure fantastic. Okay, so now I'm going on to my number 5. This is like a really, really, really recent movie, and I was wowed by it. It is the Batman.
That was my next pick.
2022.
That was my next pick.
Yeah, 2022, and that is obviously with Robert Pattinson. Different side of Batman, different type of movie than we've seen with superheroes. It's very dark. Yeah, I would say it's definitely an acquired taste type movie. It's not your basic feel good superhero type movie. Although yeah, it does have its moments, but the dark aspect to it, and it was almost like it was a scary movie in a way. It made it very, very good. So
Yeah, and then rounding out the draft here, I don't think there's much to say on this one, but I'm gonna go with Guardians of the Galaxy. I think it's
which one?
I mean, I was gonna pick 3, but I didn't want to talk about 3 because you haven't seen
Someone
it.
else hasn't seen it yet.
Yeah.
But
But the original Guardians of the Galaxy has one of the best movie soundtracks for any superhero movie. Chris Pratt is hilarious. Dave Bautista kind of cemented himself as like an actual good actor coming from wrestling.
Yeah.
I think it's one of the best Marvel movies in general. It might be top 3 for me for MCU, if we're talking strictly MCU.
Okay.
So, recapping our draft here, Ethan went with Infinity War, Tobey Maguire Spider-Man 2,
Yep.
the original Fantastic Four,
Yep.
The Dark Knight Rises,
Yep.
and The Batman.
Yep.
And then my picks were The Dark Knight, Into the Spider-Verse, Logan, Megamind, and Guardians of the Galaxy. So let us know in the comments who you think won this draft.
I think watching Logan's going to be, some homework for me for the next episode.
For sure.
So, yep. All right. Well, a little shorter of an episode here today, but just nevertheless trying to give out some content for you guys.